Plenty of action going on in the portal. What has been the biggest day one contributor, though? Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by Rouette. If you've been thinking about taking the next step, now's the time. Head to Rouette.com/LockedOnCollege to get 15% off your order for a limited time. Rouette ready, feel present, feel confident, feel ready. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, happy Portal Day for, once again, and it will continue to be Portal Day here for the next few days, if not weeks. Who knows how long this will take? Corey Robinson. That's right, guys. I said it. It's Corey Robinson. It is the one, the only recruiting analyst over at SpartanTailgate.com. And yeah, I can't believe he's got the time to join this show either, guys. He's coming fresh off of 45 minutes of sleep last night because this guy's just eating, sleeping, breathing, and now talking all things Michigan State transfer portal. And Corey, look, there's been how many Pat signals have been tweeted out? 11, 12?
I think we're at 11 right now as we're recording this.
And there's 4 names that we do not know, but there are 7 that we do know. That Pat Fitzgerald, he's a very mysterious man. Yes, he is. But look, before we go on with Michigan State's strategy, which we will talk about, which position groups will be the hardest to fill, of the 7 guys so far, who gets your gold medalist for biggest get of the cycle? Now, for me, it's an easy one. It's offensive tackle, Ben Murawski out of UConn. If it's that easy of an answer, you can hand out a silver medalist, Corey. But, hey, of the 7 guys, which one is the most eye-popping to you?
Yeah, definitely. I'd go with Ben Murawski, too, just because offensive line, the trenches is where it matters, where he's 6'7", 335, one of the best run blockers in the portal and in the country. So that checks a major box that you needed to do coming into it. And then I guess try to think of my silver medal. I think it would probably be Trey Bell.
Okay.
I think he's the one that could lock down one of the spots. And I'm really high actually on Chappell too. Chapel, the 6'3" guy who's got a wingspan that I think covers from East Lansing to Detroit. It looks like
sure does.
So and he had huge pass blocking metrics, and even just the whole secondary I was impressed with. A lot of those guys have really good experience and metrics in the pass defense.
So, of the secondary guys, and they've gotten 4 of them so far, just like you talked about, Tyran Chappell, Devin Vaught, safety out of Maine. They also grabbed Michael Richards, defensive back out of Louisiana Tech. And then, your silver medalist right now, Trey Bell. This is the corner out of Iowa State. How many of those guys you think are day one starters, screw the spring cycle, screw the fall practice cycle too? These guys are going to be nearly penned into a starting role. Do you think Trey Bell's only the guy that's solid, or do you think maybe a guy like Devin Vaught is, gunning for that strong safety role?
Yeah, I think if you look at it today, I think those 4 guys are starting along with Nakai Martinez. Mm-hmm. Obviously, things can change I assume they're going to keep adding to the secondary just because they need to really get that room both from a talent and depth standpoint better. Mm-hmm. But right now I'd say I would put all 4 of them in, where you have Nakai and Devin as the deep safeties. Richard would be the box, and then you would have the 2 corners there. So right now I'd say you got 4 starters, where competition and who they add can change that. But just looking at what returns, I don't see anything that is definitely ahead of those guys.
No, 100%. There's also another position guy that was added here, and we talked at length with Zach Blackerby of Locked On Auburn yesterday about this guy. Mm-hmm. And this is Caleb Wheatland, because didn't really play all too much last year. I believe only 19 snaps on defense for Auburn, but before that, 12 games started for Maryland, racked up a bunch of stats there. Even the year prior to that, he was still a heavy rotational player. So solid enough at Maryland, a Big Ten school, goes to Auburn, never really took off there. So do you have any idea what Michigan State's trying to get out of one Caleb Wheatland? Is this a guy that's going to be competing for a starting role? Is this just purely depth behind guys like Jordan Hall and Brady Pretzloff? What do you make of the whole Caleb Wheatland pickup here from Auburn?
The Auburn situation just kind of seems weird in general. Like, I don't
It
know a ton
does.
about what happened
Right.
with it, but it seemed like he pulled the plug and realized something was off pretty quickly and just
Okay.
kind of kept that red shirt. So I guess from a Michigan State standpoint, they're seeing what he did in the Big Ten at Maryland. So you play in the same conference, so you have success here. If you look at Maryland, his time there, he was the green dot linebacker, which means
Yeah.
he's the one running the defense, getting the play calls in, all of that stuff. So that tells you he's a really smart linebacker that knows it. And then when you watch that film in Maryland, you see a guy that he doesn't have elite speed, but he's got better speed than a lot of the linebackers that were on the field last year at Michigan State. So he can kind of go sideline to sideline. And then you noticed he diagnosed his plays really, really quick when he was at Maryland, where like he's dropping back in coverage, but then he sees, quickly that it's going to be the quarterback running out and there's nobody there. So rather than just holding his space, he would go up and make a play for a loss. And so I think that's what you're going to see at all the linebackers that Michigan State brings in, because you got Fitzgerald, you got Bola, Rossi,
Right.
Woods. I believe their GM or their chief of staff was even a linebacker. So
Gotcha. Okay.
they're gonna get linebackers that are smart, tough, and what is encouraging with Max, when you look at what he had at Notre Dame, is he's made that switch over and he understands that speed matters now. So you see a lot of the guys he was recruiting or landing at Notre Dame have the speed that you need to play linebacker in today's game.
And there's also plenty of speed too with the younger guys that this staff brought on, like DJ White, for example. I mean, much on the speedier side of things. Yes, he was a 3-star, not the perfect prospect coming out of high school, but if he had one thing going for him, it was that speedier look that Joe Rossi is looking for. And of course, like you mentioned, Max Bola too. So, hey, I'm not going to be too worried about the linebacker room. I just, was fascinated about Caleb Wheatland, because what a journey this man has took through Power 4 football. The guy at Maryland, and all of a sudden a massive backseat at Auburn, and hopefully can resurrect something here in East Lansing. Who's to say? Can't wait to follow that story.
Definitely a lesson to be learned that will never be learned by others that enter the portal. And, if you have a good situation, sometimes it's not best to make too big of a jump and then derail your career and then have to kind of bring it back again. So.
No, come on. The grass is always greener no matter where you go in life, Corey. Come on. This is one of the staples in life here. Plenty more to come with our guy, Corey Robinson. But first, guys, hey, Fridays, they are feeling different thanks to FanDuel. And FanDuel, well, how are they making them better? It's easy. Every Friday night before the games tip off in the NBA, FanDuel is giving fans a new way to kick off the weekend with their NBA Happy Hour. Now, NBA Happy Hour, it's your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Go ahead. Grab some food, grab a beverage, open up your phone, and between the hours of 6 and 7:30 Eastern time, well, that's the appointment viewing for NBA Happy Hour. You're going to find something different every single time, seemingly. Boosts, bonuses, surprises. Guys, it is a great way to get that energy, get ready for the NBA games, all from the comfort of your own couch. And with FanDuel, of course, you probably already know this if you use the app. Go ahead and make your bets quickly. I mean, it only takes, 30, 45 seconds in some cases? Guys, before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, a little bit of basketball, a little bit of action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Look, so we're obviously very early into this whole transfer portal cycle as far as guys visiting. I mean, we're kind of maybe at the tail end of guys entering, but there's still a long way to go. But if we hit pause right now, just at the time of recording, who of the known visitors in East Lansing should I have on top of my wish list here? Because I just go to the bright marquee, flashing those great rushing numbers at UConn. Cam Edwards is the guy that kind of headlines my list as far as guys that, at least as far as we know, haven't committed yet. Now, of course, this could be a classic Lockdown Spartans jinx, where as we are recording, he's actually posting about it on social media right now. But for sake of conversation, my top guy is Cam Edwards. Is there anyone that's visited campus lately they think could even be a bigger one than him?
Yeah, I like Nick Sharpe, the guard from South Carolina, who spent his first 4 years with Tabaka, the offensive line coach at Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 years, he had really good blocking metrics. I'm not a huge fan of PFF, especially for offensive linemen, but it does it does weed out if you're bad. Like they do good at that. So
sure.
But I mean, all of his metrics are really good. He's familiar with the offensive line coach, so he's going to know what's being asked about it. So then he can be a leader in the room just because he understands how he talks and how he operates. But he's not just like a guy that wasn't good. He's actually going to probably be one of the better guys on the offensive line as well if he came here, who will be able to walk it too and not just talk it to the player.
And, when I've brought up Nick Sharpe, too, I've also mentioned, yes, he played, I think it was 8 or 9 games, but it's not one of these situations, like, I mean, not to drag this kid seemingly, but Caleb Wheatland, when he played, it was against Ball State, Western Texas A&M or whatever. Like, Nick Sharpe, his games, he played against Alabama. He played against Oklahoma, Clemson, Texas A&M. Like, he wasn't just on reserve for games against Mercer and William and Mary and of the like. He actually played against the gauntlet of the SEC and played quite fine enough. I mean, certainly better than anything we've seen here. Kind of something nice.
Right.
Please come here, Nick, if you're listening.
Yeah, because I mean, with him, that's 332, 335. And then, you already have Murawski, who's 335. So you're starting to get that line where, you have to be able to run the ball on your terms, and guys that are that size set the terms.
Give me an offensive line that can stall an elevator. That's all I ask for in life. The bare minimum, just give me one of those. Give me some heft on this line. Look, I've been looking forward to having this specific conversation with you ever since we've had this on the books here. And my eyebrow arched when I saw that out of Elon, redshirt freshman quarterback Landon Clark was scheduled to visit. Now, before recording, you let me know that visit is off. Is that correct? Landon Clark not expected to be at Michigan State here?
Yeah, it sounds like that visit's off.
Okay.
There's some stuff working in the background, but we'll see where it comes. But it sounds like there could be some other dominoes that are involved with the decision as to him. But yeah, I thought he would have been a really good person where Michigan State was honest with him, saying, you would come here to be the number 2 Alessio guy. So like he knew that while he was still doing there. And that kind of feels like Michigan State might have been the ones to say, all right, well, we might have someone else. So have you go and find the best fit for you, which for me, like, I know I was talking with Justin then, that my co-worker here. Mm-hmm. I said, if I was him, like right now, you have these interests as the number 2 at like an LSU or a Michigan State and stuff like that. Why not go to James Madison? And if you do really well, then you can go into the portal next year with making a lot more money and having promises to be the number 1. So, like, if I was his agent, that's my advice to you. Go to James Madison and play.
I'm kind of on the same page as you. I mean, if you want to team up and be his agent, if they're not steering him in that direction, I think that'd be a nice way for him to go. But the conversation about this, I wanted to take it even further than just Landon Clark, because one of the refrains I've had on the show is MSU needs help at every single position on the field, except maybe quarterback. Seems like, okay, Alessio Milivojevic, he's going to be your starter. But I just was interested at this visit because the kid's obviously talented, but you think Michigan State's just looking for a solid number 2, maybe someone that could just push him in camp, not someone that's going to be like a full-fledged battle for the number 1 role? Or I guess, how do you just read MSU's movement in the quarterback market this portal cycle?
Yeah, so as we record it, and that we don't know who the guy is going to be, so I could have a chance to look really dumb. But from my read is that I think it's going to be a guy that has good experience to go behind him. So then, if you do have some things where maybe he has a second year slump in the new system, Alessio doesn't figure out, or he gets injured because God knows he took 1 million hits last year.
1,000,005, actually. Yeah. My God, tough kid.
So if you look behind him, there's some talented guys, but none of them have any experience playing games at college level. So I think it would be smart, and I think that's where they're going for, is to get a guy that has experience, so that if there's a situation he has to go in, whether it's just beating him out because he's that good when he gets
Mm-hmm.
here, or an injury or struggles or anything. You just have somebody that you can say, all right, this guy we know can play at this level.
So, I mean, just looking at every other position group, because there's still a few dozen players that have to be added here through this portal cycle. Which one's going to be the toughest for Michigan State to fulfill? Is it just going to be the tried and true edge rusher position because of scarcity and also competition to get that position player? Or is there actually another position you're kind of realizing like, oh, maybe they're not just going to have their hand-picked selection of players here?
Yeah, I think defensive line seems to always be the one. There's only a handful of really good defensive and difference makers in the portal, and when that's the case, then you got the Texas Techs and the people that are throwing absolute insane money at it.
Yeah,
which I know Michigan State fans want to get there, but when you need to add 30 people,
thank you.
You've got to get there. Like, the answer isn't taking $4 million of your chunk on an edge rusher, but then having 22 really bad players because you couldn't afford anybody else.
No, you're taking the words out of my mouth. I'm starting to get agitated if people are listening on the podcast. Clearly, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my facial expressions, but there is something that's starting to drive me up a wall, Corey. And yeah, it is like, hey, oh my, whoa, we got another guest here.
Cat.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Lulu had to make her appearance for us here.
Great group conversation here. Me, you, and Lulu. Is that the cat's name? Locked on felines. Let's go. Let's get it here. Because I might need a cat over here on my end just for comfort, because I'm starting to be driven up a god dang wall from people being like, oh, this is all we're getting out of the portal. Just low-level FCS guys, group of 5 guys that produced. It didn't work with the last staff. We should be going big game hunting. My kid's napping upstairs, so I can't yell right now, but you just can't. Like, you got to fill 40 slots here. Do you have any idea how much money top end position guys cost? You're going to blow through all your money, and then you're going to have 35 guys that look like me out there for the rest of your Saturdays. Like, you need to find some balance.
Yeah, and I think the last staff too, there wasn't a ton of those guys with production, where these guys that you've seen so far have like real substantial production that have been in the class even at those levels. And what I tried with our board before there's ever a commit, even there, is I pulled up Indiana's transfer portal thing, and yes, you had Mendoza from Cal, you had the running back from Maryland, but like 85% of that class was guys that produced at the FCS level. If you go to the year before that, like almost everybody there was from James Madison or some small school. Their safety that just won defensive player of the game for their last bowl game, small school. But like these guys, if they are in a position to play and they know how to play, can play at this level. You see it at Indiana, and you see it everywhere. Indiana is just the hot button team because that's who everyone's talking about because of insane. But I mean, if you look at Ohio State and stuff like that, they're also pulling guys from small level schools. Like, they just took a tight end out of Ohio, like the actual Ohio, not Ohio State. So Texas A&M took a tight end from some UTEP or something tiny out there. It's like it's happening all over the place where they're taking those small school guys because they played and they bring more value than a guy that might have been rated high on our competitors' site, not ours, of course, because we never miss. But
no, of course, right.
But like if they were a 4 or 5 star and they're in year 3 and they've done nothing, then maybe that just means we missed or something happened to them, that maybe they got distracted at school and that just didn't work out for them. So production always matters to me personally.
Let's talk about something most men don't bring up, but absolutely should. Stress from work, stress from money, stress from life, stress from following 58,000 kids in the transfer portal. Whatever it is, guys, it doesn't just switch off at night. And when it shows up at the worst time, well, Rouette Ready is designed to help you take back control. Rouette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment created to support both the brain and the body so you can feel present, confident, and ready when the moment matters. Rougiet Ready combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. The science behind Rougiet Ready stands out. It's 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 formula designed for both mental and physical readiness. Guys, it's easy to understand why over 150,000 men have already made the switch to Rougiet. So if you're thinking about making the next step, well, now is the time. Head to Rougiet.com/LockedOnCollege. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege to get 15% off your order for a limited time. It's Rougiet Ready. Feel present, feel confident, feel ready. Look, I love all the listeners. I love all the viewers. We, for the most part, have great back and forth conversations, whether it's the comments, the emails, the tweets, sometimes even in-person interactions. But this one, there's just a lot of context that needs to be added here with Michigan State's to-do list in the portal season. Like, oh, they should be going and getting a big edge rusher. Like, those largely don't exist anymore. Teams do a really, really good job, especially at the Power 4 level, keeping those players. And just like you said, Corey, just like we've been saying, when one hits the market, like right now for the time being, it is going to be the Texas Techs. It is going to be the Oregons, because their list of needs are so small that they can allocate a bigger slice of their budget here. Whereas, Corey, we have dozens of players that we need to add here. This is what I tried to caution people before the cycle. It's like, yes, there will be some splash impact players, but most of this is going to be just making a roster that could probably, hopefully, compete at a Big Ten level. I mean, it's got a level set. I mean, that's all.
And like the number that they are operating with is a good number. Like I can say that much. Like where, is it going to be the 40 million that Ohio State or LSU, Texas A&M, Texas Tech are? No, but it's going to be in that upper middle tier. So
it also snatching guys too with
so many needs, like we spoke about. Like you can't that was the problem with last year. If you look at all the guys, a lot of the guys that transferred out are going to Power 4 programs, right? But so they clearly are okay. It's just that we look at the roster, there was no depth behind them. So when guys got injured or nicked up or tired, like the drop off was too far.
Bingo.
So like it's about, you've got to fix your depth. Once you get your depth fixed, then you can do what I don't want to keep bringing them up, but Indiana, they're making splash ads now because they've gotten to the point where their depth is good, and when you're a winner, people like giving you more money.
Isn't that funny how that works? Yeah, right. Wow. It's almost as if winning just cures everything. But I'm not here to, just stand on my soapbox and say, hey, what Fitzgerald is doing this offseason is going to work immediately and turn this roster into a 10-2 roster next year, and you guys are all haters. No. This is just to build depth, a baseline. He's also getting a lot of guys with multiple years of eligibility, because you need not just starters, you need backups, and in some cases, even third stringers too, just to move forward here. So, hey, maybe next offseason, things are a little bit more of a stable spot. Maybe if everything goes according to plan, then maybe your list of needs is shorter. You can go bigger game hunting here. It's just a lesson of supply and demand here at Michigan State. I'm sorry to poo-poo everything and kind of maybe rain on people's parade and saying no, next year could still be kind of a tough year, guys, but this is what happens when you demand a coach be fired after 2 years, kind of like I was doing. You got to go through these trials and tribulations. I'm sorry, but you just have to.
Yeah, I mean, you're 40-something people deep into the transfer portal of guys leaving, so
and that's not even counting the seniors too that left. I mean, we're upwards of 60 now.
It's crazy to see. And for me, what I always try to explain too is living out of the portal is not what you want to do. It's just what Michigan State's had to do for so long, because they've had Mel Tucker for 2 plus a couple games. You had Jonathan Smith for 2 years, and now you're switching again. So you're never able to stabilize anything with that. So for Michigan State, they want to build the high school. That makes sense. That's how you afford guys. When you get a better deal on a better player to stay, then you're going to get portal for a guy that's never been here. So that's where you want to get. And for me, obviously the portal is where we're at it's a necessary evil. They need 30 guys out of it, maybe
Right.
40. I don't know where we're going
Right.
with this number, but that's it. But for me, once we get past this part of the window and get into 2027, that's what I'm excited to see with this staff and the way that they can recruit at a higher level, just because I don't think anybody on this staff is going to be afraid to recruit against the competition they're supposed to recruit against.
Well, Corey, I can't thank you enough for all your insight, the intel that you bring to this show, and, of course, everything that you bring to 24/7 Sports has been great following your work. And also, thanks for playing like somewhat therapist there and being my void to shout into for the last like 5-7 minutes. I think it's just because I got on here. I've maybe done no less than 20 shows about it. Like, hey, the donation was great. Hey, this is cool that we're starting over. Let's all at least walk into this offseason, though, understanding what is probably going to happen. And then, well, it turns out people don't listen to every single episode and hold on to every single word that I say, Corey. What gives, man?
Right.
Huh. It's funny how that works. Thanks. It's almost like people have lives and can't just shoehorn this episode into every single daily routine. But, guys, whether this is your only episode you listen to, whether you are a daily listener, I truly do love you guys. Hey, you know what? Even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, still love you. Corey, also love you as well. Anything you want to shout out before we let you go? Enjoy the rest of your very relaxing week, Corey.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. It's always a good time coming on here and talking to your fan base and you, and just kind of connecting and seeing that we have a lot of the same similar thoughts on roster building.
Makes me feel a little smarter, I got to say. When a guy like you that knows the ins and outs of everything kind of agrees with it, seemingly, I'm walking out of here with my head held high. But, guys, until next time, we're going to have more tomorrow. We're going to talk portal. We're going to talk, actually, with a former beat writer over at Northwestern, get to know the Pat Fitzgerald regime a little bit, and also preview this basketball game on Thursday. But, guys, until then, take care of yourselves. Love you all.